Let's dive into Fry's training so that way we can stay consistent at home. Whenever he's doing things that we want to keep saying, such as following our commands, we want to make sure we reinforce and reward those behaviors with either praise, petting, or treats. Whenever he's doing things that we don't want to see, such as not following our commands, we want to follow through with our training equipment to decrease those unwanted behaviors. So let's go over Fry's training equipment. This is Fry's prong collar. He's going to wear this whenever he is on a leash. How we take this on and off is we're just going to secure one of the links and push through like so. And then to put it back together, we're just going to pinch the prong and put it through the holes of the other prong. Then whenever he wears this, the leash is going to attach to the D-ring that swivels. And how we use this, say he is in the heel position. Heel just means walk next to me on a nice loose leash. Say he's starting to pull ahead and that's not what we want to see. We're going to say no, verbally marking that incorrect behavior we don't want to see, pop of the leash, and then remind him heel. So no, pop, heel. And then whenever he gets back into the position where we want him, we can give him that verbal praise, petting, and treats to let him know that he's doing a good job. Now let's go over his E-collar, how we turn this on and off. Red dot on the collar, red dot on the remote. Touch these together. The green light means it's on, charged, and ready to go. How we turn on the remote, on and off button on the back. Push and hold till the screen lights up. You're going to see a little 15 appear on the screen. This is Fry's level. And then today we're going to focus on the black S button. S just stands for stimulation, so it's kind of like an electric muscle stimulator. So say he is in that heel position and he's starting to pull ahead. We're going to say no, marking the incorrect behavior we don't want to see. Black S button, heel, no, heel. And then depending on the level of distraction that Fry has, we may use one of these, we may use both of these. It just depends on the situation that we are in. With the E-collar, it's going to be the first thing that we put on in the morning, and then it's going to be the last thing that we take off at night, so that way we always have a form of communication with Fry throughout the day. With the prong collar, he's going to wear this whenever he's on a leash. So at the beginning, he may be on a leash in the house to set those boundaries with him in the beginning, and then we can slowly fade away from needing the leash and the prong on in the house. So that is Fry's training equipment. Now let's go over his commands. We've already kind of gone over the heel, so about 80 to 90% of a walk should be in the heel position. The other 10 to 20%, you can give him the release word free. Free just means he's not in any set command and he can go do his own business and enjoy the walk. This is his time to kind of do his own thing. And then we have sit. Sit means stay as implied until he's given the release word free. This is really good for those door manners, so we can't just bolt through the door. So whenever we approach a door, whether it's inside or outside, we're going to have Fry sit. And then when we open the door, we're going to remind Fry sit because opening the door is a big distraction. And then we have two options. We can either free him through the door on his own or we can heel through the door with him. If he sits and he stays while we're opening the door, great. If not, we're going to follow through with our training equipment until he gets it correct. So that way we set the same boundaries at home that we have here at the facility and we're not asking him to sit 7 times before he actually listens or responds to us. Now we have down. Down means stay as implied as well. With down, we don't want to call him from a distance. So we don't want to walk 10 feet away from him and then call him from where we are because then we're rewarding him for coming to us and not staying in that down stay. So whenever he's in the down, do whatever distraction we're going to do. We're going to go back to him and release him from where he is. So that way he knows that that down stay is what we are asking for. And then when we reward this behavior, we're going to reward low to the ground. So that way he knows the positive zone is low to the ground. Now we have place. Place is a boundary stay, ideally on an elevated bed. This is going to be really good for whenever the baby starts walking or crawling, so that way he doesn't get in the way of the baby. Fry is a big guy, so he's going to be a little bit of in the way. He's big, so whenever we do this, we want to put him on place. Ideally have a leash on him whenever you first start out, so that way if he does decide to get off, we can go back and have him get back to the place bed. So whenever we're practicing this, we're also not going to release him from a distance, so that way he gets rewarded for staying on the place bed and not coming to us. So do our little distraction. We're going to go back to him and release him from where he's at, and then we're going to reward on the place bed so he knows that the positive zone is the place bed itself. Now we have come when called. This one, whenever we practice it, he's likely going to be distracted when we needed him come back to us, so we can give him that release word free, have him get distracted doing his own thing, and then we can call him to us to make it realistic. So whenever we call him to us, we're going to say in a loud, firm tone, praise him as he's coming to us, good boy, and then we're going to have him sit, and then we can give him the reward. And then he can't get up until we give him that release word free since he is in a sit, and sit means stay is implied. So whenever you first practice this, I would suggest a 30 to 50 foot leash, so that way we can reel him back in like a fish if he decides to get extra distracted, so that way we can still communicate with him. And then if he decides not to listen to us, whenever we first call him, we're going to say no. I'm going to use the black S button, come, and then still as he's coming to us, we're going to praise him because even though he made a mistake, we're still going to praise him as he's coming to us because we always want him to have a positive association with coming to us. So we're going to reward this behavior every single time that he comes to us. And then we have leave it. Leave it means just don't grab that. So practice with dog safe foods at first. Drop it on the ground, say leave it. If he does, great. If not, follow through with the training equipment. I suggest having a leash on him to begin, so that way if he decides not to leave it, we can guide him into a different scenario if we need to. So that is all of Fry's commands and his equipment. So we're going to reinforce and reward those behaviors that we want to keep seeing, such as calm behaviors or following our commands. And then with those unwanted behaviors, such as jumping or not listening to our commands, we're going to follow through with the training equipment. So that is everything. Now we're going to watch Fry do his commands. So have fun and stay consistent.
Heel. Good. Heel. Sit. 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 Down. Good down. Down. Good down, Fry. Good down. Good down, Fry. Good down, Fry. Good down. Down. Free. Good boy. Yeah.
Let's go over the other features of the remote. Now that we know how to turn it on, let's go over how to turn it off. It is the same concept, red dot on the remote, red dot on the collar, touch them together. The red light means that the collar is off. How we turn on the remote or turn off the remote, on and off button on the back, push and hold until the screen goes blank. This one takes a little bit longer. Once the screen is blank, you know it is off. So I'm going to turn it back on and we're going to go over the other features of the remote. So we've already gone over the black S button. That is just going to be the number that we see on the screen. Now let's go over the red S button. The red S button is a boost feature. So this is a way that we can communicate with Fry in emergency cases only whenever he's doing something that's going to cause him harm, such as chasing after a car. So instead of level 15, if we press the red S button, it's going to jump his level to 35. So that way we can still communicate with him whenever he is in a high adrenaline state of mind, because level 15 only reaches about here. When he's chasing a car or doing something dangerous, he is up here. So we still have a way to communicate with him whenever he is doing something dangerous. So that is for emergency cases only. Then on the other side, we have a T. This is a vibrate feature. We use this to make sure that the collar is on and ready to go. But when Fry gets further into his training, say in a year or so, we can use the vibrate feature whenever he's doing things that we don't want to see. He doesn't really need the stim, but he is just doing things and we want to remind him, hey, knock it off. So then we also have level 15 is on the screen. Say that's not working for him, say it's too much or it's not enough, you're seeing that he's having too much of a reaction or not reacting to it at all. We can change this level by pushing down on this dial until the 1D at the top of the screen starts flashing, and then we can rotate it to whatever number we want. Level 15 seems to be working for him, so we're going to lock it in by pushing that dial down when it's on level 15. So that way we can't put it in our pocket and accidentally change the level. It locks it in place for us. On the back of the remote, we have an M/C button. At the beginning of Fry's training, we start out as continuous at a very low level to positively introduce the remote to him. And then we switch over to continuous at a little bit of a high, or we switch over to momentary at a little bit of a higher level when it gets further into his training. And then the on and off button also works as a flashlight for the collar. So if we press it once, it's going to be a flashing light. Press it twice, a steady flashlight. Press it that third time, it turns it off. Both the collar and the remote are rechargeable. Charging port on the remote is right here. Charging port on the collar is underneath the prongs right here. It comes with a dual charger, so you can charge them at the same time. It stays charged for about 2 days if he wears it for about 12 to 14 hours a day. So if you charge it every other night, he should be fine. Then it comes with longer prongs. I know that he has a little bit of longer hair. I haven't had any issues with the prongs that are on it, but if you notice they're not making good contact, you can switch him over to the longer prongs if you notice the contact is not good. Then at the bottom of the box, there is a manual, so if you have any questions about the remote, you can look through that. And then the collar and remote are both waterproof, so if it gets wet, not a big deal. If he's going to stay wet for an extended period of time, I would suggest rotating the collar so that way it doesn't irritate one part of his neck, because it's going to rub more whenever it is wet. So just rotate it to the other side or somewhere where it's not going to be, so that way it doesn't irritate one part of the neck too much. So that is all of the other features of the remote. So have fun and stay consistent.